Before you criticize someone for something, ask yourself, have you ever had to accomplish what you're criticizing them for? So many ignorant comments flying all over the internet right now. Criticizing someone for their financial struggles? Have you climbed your way out of what they have? I'm sure you think you have, but when I ask questions, it becomes glaringly clear that you have not at all. It's like some people think that because they were able to make it on their own with their parents' support as they smoothly transitioned into self-sufficiency, or they had credit cards or savings or something to start out their life with, that they can accurately judge someone else who was not afforded those privileges. Okay, but you just look like a fool saying those things. And I know people say, and I agree, that however your childhood was and however you started off in life, it's still your responsibility as an adult to do what needs done to be self-sufficient now. And I definitely agree with that. I'm not arguing against that. I'm just saying that it's not the same path. Accomplishing self-sufficiency when you had to hit the ground running as a teenager before you were 18, for example, with no support from family at all, nothing to start out with, and having to build from nothing at all, not even maybe even parents that you can stay with while you build something. That's not the same path as having parents that supported you into self-sufficiency. That doesn't mean that we all shouldn't take care of ourselves and be self-sufficient. It just means that the path to achieving that is different in both circumstances. And of course, there are many nuances to both circumstances across the board as well. I'm just saying that if you travel on one path and you know how to get there, say you drive from San Francisco to Santa Rosa and you've driven that path, you know how to get to that path without GPS or maps or anything. You know how to do that, right? Someone else may be having to drive from Los Angeles to Sacramento without GPS and without maps. And you're criticizing them for getting lost, even though you've never even traveled from Los Angeles to Sacramento yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a different path. Another example, criticizing someone for their health struggles. Have you ever conquered the battle the person that you're criticizing is fighting? You may not even be able to pronounce the name of what they're fighting if you even care enough to remember what it is. It also doesn't count if you're like, well, I've had an injury, I had a really bad injury I had to recover from, or I had cancer. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's not the same thing that the other person is fighting, you don't have experience in that. How can you criticize them? You've never had to do what you're criticizing them for struggling to do. How does that make sense? And when you factor in financial struggles with that too, it's not the same path, even if you were fighting the same thing. Because resources are needed to conquer health issues, knowledge is not the only thing that you need. There are always so many factors going on with each individual person. It's impossible to precisely judge someone for their struggles. To be clear, I'm not talking about judging others for the harm that they cause people either. Judge away for that. We need more judging of that. But more often than not, it's the opposite. People don't pay attention or care, much less judge or criticize when someone is harming others, but they love to speak up and say things about those who are suffering and judge them for their suffering. The way I see it is that is a selfish desire underneath that, to pacify your conscience so you can continue to ignore those who are suffering, or worse, continue to criticize them because you enjoy it for some reason. If you make someone out to be at fault for their suffering, then you can feel justified to ignore them and enjoy criticizing them. Of course, some people are at fault for their suffering, but some people also act like they've never made a mistake or a bad decision in their entire life, and that anyone who does just deserves to suffer. No matter how young you are or old you are, when you made that decision, no matter how much you lacked guidance and support, it doesn't matter. People will just love to judge you. I guess they like to, it helps them feel superior and better about themselves. It's weird. We should never assume. We should make inquiry rather than assumption. Ask questions. So yeah, I see how it is. A lot of other people do too. The question is, do we want to live in the blinding light of truth and right? Or do we want to stay in the comfortable darkness of ignorance with our heads in the sands of criticism, so we can go on believing everything is fine even when it's not? We all get to choose. Personally, I never judge others by their struggles or the suffering they're going through. I choose to judge people by the suffering they cause to others, not the suffering they're going through themselves. So I am Katyayani. If you like what I have to say, please like, share, and subscribe, so it will help me continue to produce more content. Thank you for listening. One love, one heart, unity, and strength.